Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's Denise Salcedo, and I am very happy to bring back. You guys seen him here on the show. You guys seen him here all over the indies, all over WWE. You guys know him. He's former GCW World Champion, former WWE Intercontinental and United States Champion, the complete Matt Cardona. Matt, welcome back to the channel.
Oh, thanks for having me. What an intro.
Yeah, I was like, all right, there's so much I can go, so many different things I can say, but I was like, all right, let's just get some of the highlights in here.
And you got the new nickname in there, so thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm ready, man. Matt, it's funny because I was trying to think of like, where can I start off with this interview, right? You've been here on the channel before, we've covered a lot of different stuff, but I'm going to start with I was watching like so many of your recent newer YouTube videos that you've been putting on. And I want to start off by saying that my favorite thing about your videos is how honest you are with everybody that's watching your content. And I was listening to your videos and just hearing you talk about coming back from your torn pec, getting back out there and, being who you are. I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that right off the bat that I really appreciated your honesty in those videos.
Hey, I appreciate it. I mean, it's 2024. I think authenticity is key. The fans can read through the BS. So, I try to be as real as it gets.
No, for reals. Like just watching that, I was honestly inspired. And I don't know if I've told you this in past interviews or maybe in person, but I really love the way that you have made yourself something in the independent pro wrestling scene. I know that your goal is to go on and go back to WWE or hell, even AEW to get signed. But listening to you talk about how you have transformed yourself and all the things you've been able to accomplish, I find it really, really inspiring.
Hey, listen, thank you so much. I didn't intend to inspire people. If it happens, so be it. It's cool when people tell me that. But really, I just have this goal in mind and I'm just attacking it. And oh my God, it makes me want to throw up every time I say it, but I say it so many times. But my goal was never to prove people wrong. It was to prove myself right. And I'm getting nauseous just saying that because I say it so many times. But that was the truth, right? Like I knew I had so much more to offer. And not saying I had handcuffs on in WWE, but outside there's absolutely no handcuffs and I can control everything. And not everything that I touch is going to turn to gold. Some things have been a flop and a failure, but that's how I learn and grow. And every single day it's just part of the journey and it's just so much fun.
No, it really is. There was a quote from Nick Nemeth in a recent interview that I know you saw where he basically said that you were a guy who didn't necessarily need a machine pushing him because you were essentially just that. And I thought that is the best freaking compliment that anybody could give to anybody because it's just a testament to one, your talent, but also being able to be savvy enough to like get yourself over, to stay over, and everything that you like even mentioned in your new video.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I'm not going to pretend it is. It's a lot of trial and error, and some things that I think are going to be huge don't work. Some things that I think are going to be one night only things. For instance, the Indie God. I just wore this Indiana Jones cosplay outfit one night in GCW, and just the response from the people and from social media. I said I got to run with this. I did not intend that would be my nickname. Did not intend to be on the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated in that gear. That was a happy accident. But sometimes there's things that I think are going to be huge that don't take off at all. I spent thousands of dollars trademarking the agent. I thought, oh, there's so many free agents. I'll be the agent. It'll be this great new thing. It didn't work, but you got to learn when to pivot and when to move on and when to adjust.
But that's like the thing, right? Because there's so many different people that for so many years you kind of see the exact same version of them. And then there's people that are able to come up with new ideas, come up with new concepts. And the fans like that. I think there's a certain time period where if you see somebody be the same version of themselves, when they do try to change, the fans almost sort of reject it because they want to see that person for what they're known for. But when they see people sort of mold themselves into different things, it seems to stay fresh and people accept it.
Yeah, you got to evolve. Especially me on the indies, just for my own, so I don't get bored of myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm making these towns, so often that I can't come back with the same merch. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. But when I got hurt, I realized obviously it sucked, and there's no good time to get injured. But I took a step back, and I honestly think that I needed to get injured because I was getting a little too comfortable, and just kind of always being the main event, always making a lot of money on merch, and I was just in the flow, in the routine, another booking, another weekend. So I think when I got hurt, I took a step back. I'm like, all right, when I come back, I got to be different, right? I can't just be the deathmatch king again or the indie god again. I could, right? I could, and I'd be successful, but I wanted to change it up creatively for me, and that's what the whole complete video was all about. That was supposed to drop as I was coming back, but I mean, you saw the video, a lot went into that. It came out a month later, but yeah, it was more than a comeback video. It was the video of my career, the video of my life, and I just wanted it to be perfect. And the fans seemed to loved it, so that was great.
And you managed to get a lot in like a couple of minutes because like it wasn't that long, but I felt like I saw like pretty much every single highlight that you needed to do. Like you got the point across. But with that being said, so recently you've sort of been in the news cycle for something that you said in a recent interview where you were talking about how you were sort of surprised that you hadn't heard from WWE or AEW just yet. And you're somebody that the last 4 years, like you said, have really just sort of exploded in the independent wrestling scene. So, with that being said, I kind of wanted to expand on that because I guess I wanted to gauge like where in terms you were, like, had you had any conversations with WWE or AEW? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean that definitely made some headlines, right? Clickbait, right? Clickbait 101. Here's the thing, right? Like I can only control what I can control. I'm not going to lie to the people. I'm not going to pretend there's been all these offers. As a matter of fact, I haven't been offered anything from WWE or AEW, and it is what it is. Maybe that will change one day, but for now, I just need to focus on being me. I need to focus on reinventing myself again. I need to focus on being the top guy in the indies for another year. I got to focus on maybe changing the indies, elevating other people. I can't harp on what's not going on. I have to focus and put all my focus on just me and create my own path and create my own legacy. And I feel like I've done that the past 4 years, but with it's almost another year, it's almost 2025. So the pressure's on to top myself, and it's a good pressure. I love the pressure, but listen, I'm always ready, right? If the phone rings right now, I'll have a conversation, but I can't just be waiting by the phone. I can't sit here, please call me. I can't do that. That's not how I want to live. And that's not how I want to, um, have my career go. I want to do my own thing, be my own boss, have a lot of fun, make a lot of money. And if the call comes, I'm always ready.
So like it to me it's interesting, right? Because you have, done all of the things. You posted on Twitter this like little checklist, right? Of like all the things that you have. And I
Yeah.
nearly died, Matt. I nearly died when you put looks like a wrestler.
Well,
It killed me, but I thought that's so freaking true. Like I know all of the other things are true too, but that one line nearly knocked me out.
I mean, listen, it's 2024. There's no cookie cutter pro wrestler. I'm the version of a pro wrestler that I want to look like, when I was a kid, what I wanted to be like. But listen, there's exceptions to every rule. And there's a lot of successful people who don't look like a quote unquote pro wrestler. And that's fine. A lot of them are more successful than me. So this is just the way I want to look. I take a lot of pride in being in the best shape possible. Always ready, right? And I keep saying that it's not just a hashtag or a slogan. It's truly how I live my life and career. Because if I do get a phone call, I need to be ready. I need to be ready to capitalize on an opportunity. For instance, this past year with Adam Copeland, AEW, I look like $1,000,000, put on a great match. What if I just didn't tan, got out of shape, didn't wrestle a lot, and I had to have this match on Collision, and I blew up, looked fat, looked pale? Come on. No, I can't do that. I have too much pride.
People are gonna be like, damn, what happened to Matt Cardona? Like I
Exactly.
imagine I
Yeah.
remember him
I
so
don't want
differently.
that. Every year, obviously I want my career to progress, but I want to look better and better. And listen, everyone has Google. I'm getting older. I'm not getting younger. You know what I'm saying? But I want to do my best to look the best. And I feel like 39 years old, I don't feel like I've hit my prime yet. I feel like I'm getting better and better in the ring. And I feel like I'm looking better and better. So it just, I'm kind of doing the opposite of what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get old and grizzled as you get older. I feel better and better.
Now, with that being said, it's one of those things where I feel because of all of the success that you did have or have been having outside of WWE, like from an outsider's perspective, it made me wonder if like that's why there hasn't been these offers. Because I feel like I look at you and I'm like, oh, he's doing great, like he's doing awesomely. So I almost feel like this recent you coming out and saying like I'm surprised that there hasn't been any offers from AEW or WWE might wake some people up and go like, damn, like he's actually interested in being part of the company. And I was wondering if you kind of saw it that way or if it was one of those things where you felt like they might have already known.
Well, of course that if you watch that whole interview I did with Sports Illustrated, it was just a throwaway sentence. But of course, with the internet and clickbait, it turned into this huge headline. Like they made it seem like that's all I talked about. I honestly, yes, I'm a little surprised, but like I said earlier, I can't be focused on that. I got to focus on me and what's next and all the bookings coming up and all the new merchandise and my toy line. I'm so focused on me and elevating myself. And if the phone rings, I'm ready. The ringer's on. You know what I'm saying? Like if the ringer's not on, it'll vibrate. Like I will pick up the phone call if it comes, and if it doesn't come, so be it. And I'll just focus on elevating Matt Cardona and just getting better and better every month, every year until it's over. And it's not over until I quit, and that's
I
never gonna
love
happen.
that.
So I guess it's never gonna be over.
No, I love that because I really feel like you sort of manifest the things that you want in this life. And if you manifest and you obviously do the work too, right? You just can't be sitting there going, oh, I wish this and that. But if you manifest and you do the hard work, I do think that stuff is going to come to you. And I feel like you have seen several examples of that throughout your career now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked about the AEW collision, just having that entrance and I got holy shit chance on the entrance. And yeah, I know I was surprised. I'm not gonna get holy shit chance every time I come out. I'm realistic, but just coming out in that full house, I'm like, oh, this is what I miss. I love the indies. Of course I do. I've had the most fun I've ever had in my career on the indies, but just having a full wrestling arena, not a gym, not a bar, not the Ukrainian Cultural Center in LA. You know what I'm saying? So I'd be lying if I said I don't miss the big venues. I'd be lying if I said I never wanted to wrestle in Madison Square Garden or WrestleMania. Of course I do. Or Wembley Stadium for AEW. Of course I do. But I can't be focused on that. I can't make that my number one focus. I need to focus on, okay, how do I get better every single day? How do I elevate myself every single day? And I know I sound like a broken record, but if the phone rings, I'll have the conversation. But if it doesn't ring, I just got to keep moving forward. And I feel like I've carved out this path for myself that I'm not saying it's never been done before. Obviously, Drew McIntyre did it. He had success in the indies after WWE, Cody Rhodes as well. But, when you go to let's say we're at WrestleCon and people come up and meet me, you don't see like all Zack Ryder 8x10. It's like, of course, like I'm proud of Zack Ryder, but it's all the stuff I've done since GCW World Champ, NWA World Champ, Indie God, Deathmatch King, all the merch I've made, the toy line. So I'm grateful for my past as Zack Ryder, but like that's the past. I'm focused on the future.
So I do want to touch a little bit on obviously the indie stuff because there was first of all two things I want to touch on. The first one is you mentioned the Ukrainian Cultural Center. Now I'm very familiar with that
Yeah,
venue because I've done a couple of ring announcing stuff for GCW there, seen you there. And that locker room, I feel like that's definitely one of you've been everywhere. Is that the worst locker room for an indie venue, or has there been worse?
it's an alley.
It's an alley.
It's
Yeah,
an
it's an
alley.
alley.
It's an alley where you have to pee, with the fans. You have to change with the fans watching you through this chain link fence. Like it's horrible, but it is what it is. You know what I'm
It
saying?
really is.
At this point, I'm just used to it, which is, I don't know if that's sad, but at this point, it's all right. Here we are, changing in the alley today. You know, but yeah, that's definitely the worst, if you want to call it a locker room, I've ever been in for sure.
So I'm going to say this though. To me, it's like an experience, right? Because you walk back there and you got like, I don't know, it feels like 100 different people
Yep,
and everybody is so different. Like you can literally walk down this alley and you see your Nick Gages, you see Jimmy, you see you can see all of these different people, like people that they have, the regulars or like
sure.
surprise appearances. And I'm walking through there and it's just like this crazy experience to see all of these different guys back there and everyone's sort of doing just like I will tell you my craziest experience in GCW, and it was one time where Joey Janela goes up to me and he's like, "Oh, I don't even know how it happened, but somehow, some way, I end up in front of Joey Janela, and he's telling me like to look inside this case." And he's like, "Oh, there's a snake in here." And I'm
Oh,
thinking, oh, he's probably freaking lying, right? And then Brett's like, "No, you got to look in there." And I'm like, okay. So I look in there, and there's this giant snake. And that snake was in a box in that exact same alley with like 500 people or
yep.
whatever.
I was there that night. It's
Yeah.
GCW is wild. It's I've seen some crazy things at GCW.
So with that being said, you recently did a Q&A and on Twitter, and there was a fan that asked you about like your worst experience in an indie or whatever, right? And you wrote no comment. So it got me thinking, there's something good there if he said no comment. So I'm gonna throw my shot out there and
Man,
see if you can share some of your craziest indie stories.
I mean, listen, there are some indie shows that I go to and the match is great, the fans are great, I killed on merch. I'm thinking, wow, like I love this. I could do this forever. Then there are shows where I'm like, what the F am I doing with my life? Like, what is this? We're in the middle of nowhere. You don't get a tweet about it. It's like, did this day exist in my life? And sometimes the matches are fine. Sometimes the matches are not. There's a wide variety of opponents out there on the indies. I think I've wrestled the best ones and the worst ones. And it is what it is. You take the good with the bad. And that's what makes independent wrestling so fun. I will stick to my no comment because I don't want to throw any promotion under the bus. But man,
Hey, the viewers can't say I
yeah,
didn't try.
yeah. Whew, let's just let's just say I got into it with the promoter over money. And the police came because
Oh, because I was about to say, getting into it with the promoter over money, that's like wrestling 101 at this
well,
point.
like
But
it was after the show, and the promoter tried to leave without paying people. And we made sure he wasn't leaving. The police came, and we weren't being violent by any means. We just wanted our money. And he was like fake counting money. He was counting money, but like he just kept recounting the same like money. We're like, do you have it or you don't have it? So long story short, we got paid, but maybe Brian Myers or Frankie Kazarian could share the story with you because they were there with me. So,
oh damn.
yeah.
And I just had Brian Myers on, when was it, like last week on Busted Open. So now I'm like, damn, I should have, had I known, I would have asked. But
Yes.
no,
No. But luckily, most promoters have been fine. But that was the only time I was worried about getting paid.
yeah, it kind of creeps me out or like freaks me out how many promoters there are, especially like in the smaller of indies, that are planning these big shows but don't actually plan to pay their people. So now it's like you have, I mean, I'm assuming now it's like you have your rules, right? Like your
Sure.
vetting process.
Yes. But on the flip side, there are some indie promotions that you've never heard of. You probably will never hear of, but you go to these shows and they're so well run. Like there's so many people there. It's so much fun. You make so much money, but then you go on social media and like I said, there's not a tweet about it, but like it was run super professional. The matches were great. The talent was great. And it's just one of those things where some promotions just aren't known yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's kind of my goal is that when I go to a show, listen, let's be honest. This is not the pass the torch run. This is light a new torch for myself run. But if I can elevate somebody, sure. If I post a picture wrestling somebody and someone's like, who's that? And they follow them on Instagram or something like that, like you never know how someone can get discovered. So if I can help people, so be it.
I always say support your local indie because there's gems out there. Like I've gone to shows where I'm like, I can't even tell you the name of the company because I don't even remember. But I
Right.
went and it was a good time, and you're surprised by who you discover at the shows. And I feel like that's always, it makes it more fun because then those people you never know could go on to become like these really big stars, and you're like, oh my god, I saw this person when they performed in front of 30 people.
That's the best part about independent wrestling. Like you just said it. The future of wrestling are at these independent shows, and there is so much work out there. I promise you that if you're an independent wrestler looking to wrestle, it's like it's almost unlimited, right? There are shows everywhere, all over the country, all over the world, every weekend. Now, like I said, are they all super buzzworthy like GCW? No. But you got to start somewhere, and you got to get your reps in. You got to make the connection with the audience. And I think that's the most important part, is making that connection with the audience, because they'll follow you your whole career.
Hell yeah. So, speaking of having faced a wide array of different talents throughout your career, specifically speaking for your indie career, which ones would you say were some of like the opponents that you faced where you're like, damn, this was really freaking cool. Wasn't expecting this match to be great, or some that you're like, okay, how's this gonna work? But it ended up being like really awesome.
I mean, I've told the story a million times, but that first death match with Nick Gage, it changed my career, changed my life. It was a match I did not want to have. It was a match that I thought about turning down. And where would I be if I would have turned down that match? I wouldn't be here. I'd probably just, be another one of those WWE guys in the indies, who's by now year 4, whose rate would be like probably cut in half, like with no buzz. But I was so afraid to wrestle this guy. I thought, why am I going to wrestle this deathmatch guy, this guy who was just on Dark Side of the Ring for almost killing David Arquette, like this criminal, this drug addict? I'm not going to wrestle him. I'm better than that. And then I took a step back and said, everyone's going to want to see him slice me with a pizza cutter. Everyone's going to want to see him kill me. Like, I got to do this match. I knew it would create buzz. I didn't, I didn't anticipate the amount of buzz it would create. And like I said, it changed my whole career, changed my whole life. And just being a part of GCW, I feel like I put GCW on the map that night, but they also put Matt Cardona on the map that night. And ever since then, it's been this perfect partnership. And it was supposed to be 3 shows, and I've been there ever since.
Wow. No, I still remember just like seeing how like bloody you were. Like you couldn't even see like who you were anymore. You were just blood. You were just
Yeah.
blood. Like that's all it was at one point. So and no, it really is cool. And I feel like some people I think some people realize the impact that GCW has had, and then some people don't really realize the impact that GCW has had, because for an indie to get like this popular, there's been a few. It's been far and few in between, but GCW they freaking have lasted now. Like they're standing tall on their own 2 feet. I mean, you're going to be at the show in a month from now in Hawaii. Like that's
Yes.
incredible.
I have never been to Hawaii to wrestle. So this is my 50th state, and GCW is bringing me there. But GCW, it runs every single weekend. It's not just like in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's everywhere, all over the US, all over the world. Canada, Mexico, England, Germany, Japan. It's been to all of these places. I don't know who on the independents puts on more shows. I don't think anybody does. I think,
No, not to that scale
there's
and
no
that many
way.
places.
There's no way, and it's such a great crew, a great locker room, and, if you haven't been to a GCW show, man, you gotta check it out. You'll get everything there. You'll get some hardcore stuff, you get the deathmatch stuff, you'll get some great technical wrestling, you get some high-flying stuff, then you get sports entertainers like me. You get the whole package of GCW.
No, man. Every time I go to the shows, whether it's here in LA or in other places that's well, I never know like what to expect. And it's cool because again, you see a mix of people and a mix of matches. And I feel like that is what, that's what the fans like. Like people want to be wowed. People want to have those experiences. So with that being said, Hawaii, that's gonna be really fun. I couldn't believe it when I saw that announcement. I thought, dang, like GCW in Hawaii, like where's left for them to go at this point?
Well, GCW has some big stuff around the corner. I'm not gonna reveal it here, but people are going to be very, very interested. And, I'm proud of the fact that you know, everyone talks about the forbidden door, right? I think I opened the forbidden door in GCW where now everyone wants to go there. Everyone, whether they're in AEW or they just left WWE, everyone wants to go to GCW, whether it be Jeff Jarrett, whether it be JBL, whether it be Nick Nemeth, Raj, Matt Hardy. GCW is the place to be. And I don't think anybody would have took that chance if I didn't take the chance on myself. And I'm super proud to be a part of GCW. When I first came in, I think maybe I was considered an outsider, but man, like I am, like you talk about the locker. If there was a GCW invasion on Monday Night Raw, I'd be leading the charge. That's how GCW I am now. GCW is my home, and I absolutely fucking love it there.
That's so freaking cool. I do also want to ask you about another big match that you have coming up at Bound for Glory because you're going to be facing PCO. All right. First of all, I mean PCO, like he has the PCO is not human for a
He's
reason because
not human.
it's crazy. So I want to get your thoughts in terms of going into this Monsters Ball match with him, and what are your expectations to be in there with PCO?
Man, listen, I just got to take a step back and say how much I love TNA. When I went there, when it was still called Impact Wrestling, I guess it's the beginning of 2021. They were the first. This is during the pandemic when there was nothing going on, and they were the first company to take a real chance on me. And I'm forever grateful for that. And it helped me get back on my feet, helped me get my confidence back. As Matt, like who is Matt Cardona? I didn't know, and it wasn't until I got to Impact to TNA that I finally started to figure it out. So all these years later, to see TNA finally getting the recognition that it deserves because the locker room is so hungry. You watch that show, you watch Impact, it's a great show, and it's been a great show for years. But there was a stink on it for so many years, and I'm glad it's over. And I'm glad that everybody is finally giving TNA a chance. And I am honored to be a part of Bound for Glory against PCO. But guys, people got to remember, I'm the deathmatch king. I know PCO is this monster. I know he's been through some crazy stuff. And trust me, I've been watching some videos. I've been watching some tape, watching some Monsters Ball match. PCO is a freak. He's done some crazy things, but so have I. And I think that's what's going to make this match so interesting and so entertaining for the fans. But my goal is to walk into Detroit and to walk out beating PCO and taking those two titles.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to see that because it's gonna be an experience, that's for sure. Speaking of crazy things, I do have to ask you about your wife, Chelsea Green,
Yes.
because she's known for like she's had some crazy spots, obviously off of the Money in the Bank, thrown off the ladder into a table. Just what, a week, 2 weeks ago, she was in a dumpster match and put through a table into a dumpster. So she's having some really big moments. I wanted to get your thoughts on the work that she's been doing in WWE since she's returned.
Oh my God. When she made her return and she was in the Royal Rumble, I think she was in for like 4 or 5 seconds. And I saw the social media response and they were like, she's getting buried, blah, blah. And I was thinking, you idiots, you don't realize like everyone's talking about her. Like because Chelsea gets it. She knows what it's all about. It's not about the moves, it's about the moments. And every second she's on television, she makes people remember her. And now she's letting people remember that she can actually wrestle. She can actually do some crazy stuff. You talked about the Money in the Bank falling through those tables off the ladder or this dumpster match. She did. This wasn't even on television. She did during the commercial break, which I think she's crazy for doing. She did like the coast to coast drop kick, like the RVD Shane McMahon. I'm like, how do you do that during the commercial? So like there's some footage out there, some fan footage, but she can go in the ring. She's very entertaining. I think she's the complete female competitor. So it makes sense that she's married to me, the complete Matt Cardona.
No, I was kidding. It's funny because I was just thinking about that a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking, like, damn, like Chelsea really is the complete package. Like, she's got everything. And I think she's so good at like also like marketing herself. And she has such a great personality. I will tell you, so when was it? Clash at the Castle in Scotland. I was there doing media, and she was one of the talents that WWE had out there to do media. And as you know, it's a line of people and you
Mhm.
start on one side of the room, and I was on the opposite side of the room. Chelsea started on one side and I was the last person that she was going to be talking to. But I will tell you, this lasted like what, 2 hours, 4 hours, I don't even know, but the whole time, every single interview that Chelsea did, I would turn around and hear what was happening because she was so funny, so energetic. And I feel like sometimes when you're doing so much media, you see people like kind of get a little tired once they
Sure.
like go like so many. Nope, not Chelsea. She was the most energetic person in the room. When I was the last person she spoke to, she gave me an amazing, energetic, funny interview.
Well, she gets it because even doing this interview, it's an opportunity to get myself over. So she understands that every time she's in front of the camera, whether it be an interview, the red carpet, SmackDown, Raw, whatever, that's a commercial for her. Maybe there's people watching it for the first time. Like that's she just totally gets it. And listen, I want to take credit for it, but I can't. Like she was wired that way before I met her, and I'm super proud for all success.
I love that. I do want to ask you one more question about Chelsea, and that is, she has said like how she got her job back in WWE. That she just messaged Triple H and she was like, "Hey, I want my job back," and she's gone there, and she has proved, I think, a lot of people wrong. She has like really just become a popular person on the show. How does she inspire you in terms of like what she's been able to do, in her career?
I'm super proud of her. When she told me she got the offer to go back, it wasn't even a conversation because we were killing it on the indies together. That she was part of my package, but it wasn't even a conversation because I knew she never really got a fair shot the first time. Like she was there, but was she? Like when she got fired the first time, I tried to make her feel better. I'm like, but you got two action figures out of it, right? But then, like when she was going back, I was like, those action figures don't even count. You got to go back, So and I'm so glad that she went back because she never really got a taste, and you have to, I think every pro wrestler needs to feel the big time. Everyone wants to be at the top. And if they say they don't want to be at the top, I think they're lying, So I'm so glad that she got to go back. She got the opportunity to go back, and she's been absolutely killing it ever since. Tag team titles, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank. Now this dumpster match, like which could have just been a throwaway, haha match on SmackDown. We're talking about it weeks later, and I'm sure it's gonna, be a story on SmackDown for the next couple of weeks. She turns anything into gold. So I love her, and I'm super proud of her.
Yeah, man, she's definitely won people over. Like some of the crowd reactions that she got when they were in Canada, I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like,
well, she's Canadian,
right, right. But still, I feel like no, that definitely counts. Imagine
right.
being in your home and not getting cheered like that. But she was cheered like so much. It was great to see.
Because the fans, they're not stupid. It's 2024. They see how good she is. They see how entertaining she is. They see how hard she works. And I think she's going to be a situation where the fans turn her, where it's not going to be some storyline turn, that it's just organically going to happen. And the fans are just they're going to start, they're already cheering for her. They're already laughing for her. But I think it's going to become so much more obvious.
Hell yeah. All right, Matt. Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview. Before we wrap things up, I want to, get your, like, I guess you can say, like, goals out there. I know you've mentioned a few already on this interview, but I always like that to be the last question I ask my guests because it's like the way of like manifestation. So for you, end goals for 2024, beginning of 2025 at this point already.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure because I want 2025 to be my best year, not just on the indies, but in my career. And I've said it so many times that I don't care how you define success, money, accolades, happiness. This independent run has been the most successful run of my career. And now I got to top it, which is hard. And there's a lot of pressure, and it's good pressure, and I'm ready for it. When it comes to my outside projects, I have a toy company. Make sure you go to collectmajor.com, buy some big rubber guys. I want that to grow. I want to not just be making wrestling figures. I want to make, Ghostbusters, Rocky, Ninja Turtles, Disney, you name it. So I want the wrestling to grow. I want the wrestling figure business to grow. And at the end of the day, I'm just a kid who grew up wanting to do this, and I'm living my dream. And I just want to keep it going. I don't want to just be there. I want to, I don't want to be a guy. I want to be the guy. And I don't want to be the guy on the indies. I've already done that. So we'll see what happens. Everyone knows my phone number, and I'll pick up the call.
I love it. Where can people check out all of your stuff if they haven't
Oh my
already?
God. I'm all over social media at the Matt Cardona. I relaunched the OG YouTube channel, the one that changed it all, the one that changed the game. So I've been putting a lot of cool stuff up on there. So follow that. But yeah, just find me on Instagram, on X at the Matt Cardona. Like I said, go to collectmajor.com, buy your figures, and listen to the Major Wrestling Figure a lot of stuff to plug. Major Wrestling Figure podcast. Man, we can have a whole interview plugging my stuff.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to post all the links to everything in the description box below so you guys can just go and pick and choose. But Matt, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. Thank you to everybody watching. Please do not forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.
See you guys. Thank you.